So students, today we will start a new class with new chapter. So the class is class 9th, chapter 2, and the name of the chapter is tissues. In general, we find that chapter is so difficult, but here we will do this chapter like that it will be very simple for us. So we will start our topic. And first we will discuss about living organisms. And why we are talking about living organisms? Because the topic for which we are discussing tissues that we are finding in the body of living organisms only. When life has started on earth, we are having only single-celled organisms. What is cell? Actually, cell is the building block of any living organism. Like if suppose we are making any building, so what we require? Brick. Brick is the building block. Like that, if we are making any body, then the building block is a cell. The smallest structure what we are finding in our body is known as cell. Now with the name single cell, you can identify that in that organisms we are finding only a cell, one cell. That is why we are telling them, we are talking about them, then we are saying that these are single celled organisms. They were able to perform all the functions like digestion, breathing, excretion, all the functions they are doing because these are necessary for life. Even today, millions of such acellular organisms are present like amoeba, paramecium, chlamydomonas. It doesn't mean that like today we are having multicellular organism, the difficult organisms in life. So we are not having these organisms. These organisms are also present in the life nowadays. They can perform, these single-celled organisms, they can perform all the activities of life, but without much efficiency. Now the question arises, why without much efficiency? Because these are single-celled organisms. So they can do all the duties of their bodies, their function of the bodies, but at a time they were doing only one function. If suppose they were doing digestion, so the body will do at a time digestion only. The body will not do excretion at the time because they are having only single cell. So single cell will perform only one work. So to make more efficiency, what happened? The nature has made multicellular organism so that the efficiency will increase. Multicellular, you can understand with the name, multicellular means the cells are more in number. Now what happened? In multicellular organisms, various functions were assigned to different group of cells because we are having different type of cells. The number of cells has been increased, so the body has made group of cells. And what happened when we are having different group of cell? So different functions has been assigned to different cell so that the efficiency has increased. Like digestion has been given to different group, excretion has been given to different group, breathing has been given to a different group. So these cells they were doing different work. So when different cells were doing different work, so naturally the efficiency has been increased. Now we will talk about how these multicellular organisms have organized. In general, these multicellular organisms have three-tier organizations. It means the functions or the organs or the tissues, they have organized in three types in our body. How? In first block, I have written cells and tissues. As I told you before, the building block of any body is cells. It means the smallest structure of any body is cell. Initially we are having cells only. When many of the cells they come together, they form tissues. Okay. Then in next step, when the many of the tissues come together, they formed organ. Organ like we are having stomach, we are having heart, we are having kidney. This is known as one organ. In next step, when we will take many of the organs together, we will make organ system. Like our digestive system. Our digestive system are having many organs together, and they are making one system. And the work of that system is digestion. Like this, we are having breathing system. In our breathing system, we are having different organs, and what we are doing? We are doing breathing with it. So this is one system. So first we are having initially only cells. They come together, they have made tissues. Then tissues come together, they have made organ. Then different organs come together and they have made organ system. So like that, our multicellular organisms, they are having three-tier organization, and like that they are performing different functions. Now in this slide, we will learn about tissues. Here is the definition of tissues. Actually, what tissues are? Tissues are group of similar cells. It means similar type of cells. They come together and they have made tissues. Having same origin, because the origin place from where they have made, the origin place is same, because with similar type of cells we have made tissues, and performing a specific functions. A type of cells come together, they have made tissues, and they are making a specific type of functions. It means if suppose they are included in an organ where the breathing is going on, so a single type of work or a single type of function will go with that particular tissue. The study of tissues is known as histology. This is the name of the study when we are doing for tissues. Both the multicellular plants as well as animals have tissues in their body. As we are human beings, we are also having tissues. Animals are also having tissues. Plants are also having tissues. Now, plant tissues. First, we will discuss about plant tissues. In higher plants, the cells and tissues differ very much in their kind, form and origin. It means how they are, how they have made, and which type of they are different type. Based upon the capacity to divide, it means how they are growing. Because of division, they are growing. The plant tissue have been classified into following two parts. And the parts are meristem and long lasting. Meristem, it means which are dividing, and long lasting, it means now they are not dividing. It means these are permanent tissues. So under meristem tissues, we will study about apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. These are the three parts of meristematic tissues which are dividing regularly, which are able to divide, which are able to grow. So permanent tissue or long lasting tissues we will discuss later. Now in this chapter, whatever the slides I am giving you in it, I am telling you first meristematic tissues. So first we will learn about meristematic tissues or meristem. This type of tissue is composed of a group of similar or immature cells. Because these tissues are having immature cells, that is why they are dividing and they are making mature cells. Like we, the human beings, we are growing from children to adult. Till the time we are not becoming adult, we are growing. As we become adult, our body stop growing, and after the adult, our deterioration period will start. It means the growing period need immature cell, then only the growing period will sustain. These cells divide to form new cells and help in increasing the length and girth of plant. Now the characteristics of meristematic tissues. The cells are small and thin-walled for meristematic tissues. The cells are closely packed without intercellular spaces. It means the in-between spaces are not there. These cells are isodiametric. It means they have identical length, breadth and height. These are same. So isodiametric, that word you should understand why we are using that. The cells may be round, oval or polygonal. These are the shape has been given, which we generally find for meristematic tissues. Vacuoles, it means the free spaces are absent or very small. The cells keeps on dividing and produce new cells. New cells thus produced are converted into mature or permanent cells. Once the dividing process is completed, then meristematic tissues automatically converted into permanent tissues where they are not dividing then. Now here this picture has been given to you, and in it you can see different type of meristematic tissues: apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Now I am going to tell you one by one where these are present and how they are growing. So first I am taking apical meristem. This meristematic tissue is present at the growing tips of roots, stems and also in the growing young leaves near the tips of young stem, where actually you are finding that they are growing, their length is increasing. The next one is lateral meristem. This meristematic tissue is present below the bark and in the vascular bundle in dicot stem. It is responsible for increasing the diameter. It means the circle around diameter of the stem. So the main point which you people should remember, that the apical meristem, they help to increase the length of particular tissue or part, and that lateral meristem is help in increasing diameter of particular part. Now the last one is intercalary. This meristematic tissue is present at the internodes of stem and at the leaf bases, from where the leaf has started. So these three parts I have given to you. Apical meristem, generally they are present on notches or on the tip of a particular organ, and the lateral meristem, these are present generally in the diameter, where the stem is increasing its diameter or its roundabout surface. There the lateral meristem is present, and intercalary meristem, generally they are present in the internodes of stem and leaf bases, from where the leaf is fixed. From there we got intercalary meristem. So now in last we will learn about functions of different types of meristematic tissues. So first meristematic tissue is apical meristem. This brings about the elongation of roots and stems, hence increases length of the plant. That I already told you in last slide, but the new point is it is called primary growth. When a root or stem, they are increasing in their length, so this type of growth is known as primary growth. The second is lateral meristem. This helps in increasing the diameter and girth of the plants, and this type of growth is called as secondary growth. So when the part is increasing with their length, so that type of growth is known as primary growth, and if the plant is increasing in diameter or girth, then this type of growth is known as secondary growth. So these 2 points also you should remember, what is primary growth and what is secondary growth. Intercalary meristem causes increases in the length of an organ. It means particular organ, if its length is increasing, then intercalary meristem. So here in the picture, it has been given to you that how the primary growth is growing and how the secondary growth is going on. So you can pause the slide and study different tissues. These are the plant tissues only, meristematic under it, and the next permanent tissue we will take in next chapter. Thank you.